this week, the best moments of a difficult year. McLaren versus Ratapong. Herfoss against Maxwell. And the people behind the scenes. All the emotion, all coming up right now on the Asia Motorsports Hour. The COVID pandemic and subsequent travel bans and governmental restrictions surrounding sport all over the world meant that road racing started late in 21. But there's still a surprising amount actually, to celebrate. Here's part one of our review of the season, where starting in March, we take you through to the end of May. The picturesque Winton Raceway in Victoria, Australia, our first stop-off point for the Australian Superbikes Championship, the ASBK. We may have been late getting revved up, but we had an action-packed opener.
Superbikes are go! Glenn Allison has stalled it on the line, can't get the bike off the line, and as they make their way down towards turn one, he has dropped right back in the field, but it is Troy Herfoss that leads Wayne Maxwell and Arthur Cece's through the spokes.com.au for the first time. Good to see everyone got off the line cleanly there.
Troy Herfoss and defending champion Wayne Maxwell going wheel for 16 laps, and the race only decided very, very late on.
Maxwell's right there in position now, but he's going to have to get good drive out of here if he wants to make a challenge at MA corner. Is he in position? He's going to dive up the inside. He tries to do it. He goes up the inside. Does Maxwell? Can he hold it on line? Herfoss comes back on the inside, gets all out of shape through Yamaha Rajah corner. Herfoss is down. Herfoss has gone down. Maxwell will take the win. Can Herfoss get the bike up and get some all-important points in the championship? Mike Jones will take second position, and in third place we could very well find that it will be Glenn Allerton, the three-time Australian Superbike champion. Herfoss desperately trying to get the Penrite Honda started and make his way across the start-finish line.
Herfoss would get his revenge the following afternoon, but only after a red flag incident. Herfoss winning the restarted race by a margin. The road racing season was up and running.
Through the final corners now for Troy Herfoss. Turn 12 is a lot happier in race 2 than it was in race 1, and Herfoss makes his way out onto the MyBike Motorcycle Insurance straight for the final time. He cruises to the line and claps himself across. He takes the victory in race number 2. Maxwell takes second.
March saw the start of what would prove to be an interrupted Malaysia Cup pre-season, but would witness a magical moment for the veteran underbone 150cc racer Muzakir Muhammad, here on bike number 92.
Mereka akan dilepaskan sekarang dengan dua pembawa Waipang, tapi kita lihat permulaan dari sebelah kanan sekali tadi dia agak baik.
The rider who would eventually win the 10-race season, Adroy Hakim, would have a miserable start, and other likely contenders such as Kazma Daniel would crash out in the race. And that enabled Muzakir, after a decade competing on the Cup Prix circuit, to race away for his first ever win.
Muzakir berada di tempat yang pertama sekarang ini dengan Izzat di tempat yang kedua di belakangnya. Muzakir Muhammad, Izzat dan juga Afif sampai. Perlombaan yang baik oleh Muzakir Muhammad dengan Izzat tadi tempat yang kedua. Afif Amran di tempat yang ketiga.
Road racing focus moved north in the first week of April as the All Japan Championship got underway at the Motegi Twin Ring Circuit.
ブラック今スタート、いいスタートは小山か、小山がいった、セカンドグリッドからスタートの小山がまずは1コーナーにいち早く飛び込んでいく、そのイン側から3番グリッドからスタートの横山翔太ですね。横山翔太、ヤマハの最上位、2台が転倒だ、2コーナー。
After that chaotic start to the season, the race soon settled into a rhythm, and it would turn out to be a successful start to the campaign for former ARRC racer Tomoyoshi Koyama in the Supersport 600cc.
やっぱり完璧な走りでしたね。さあベテラン小山、さすがという完璧な走り。今最終コーナー立ち上がってくる全日本ロードレース選手権 ST600 開幕戦を制したのは小山智義。トップでチェッカー、そして2番手野口春樹、3番手国峰拓磨、そして4番手に横山翔太。
But the real focus in the All Japan Championship would surround Yamaha Factory Racing's Katsuyuki Nakasuga in the JSB 1000 class. He started the season in the manner he would carry on throughout all 7 rounds. 2 wins out of 2 at Motegi, though the second was red flag, with Nakasuga calling the race.
Oh, but I can see that Nakasuga is clapping, so the winner is Katsuyuki Nakasuga, congratulations! Wow, he won.
Capri Round 2 action that same first weekend of April. And we get a first glimpse of the quality of a man who would go on to take the 125cc championship, Adib Rosley.
Mereka bermula sekarang. Permulaan yang baik dari tengah. Kita lihat Adib Rosley yang membentuk laju menuju ke strekor yang pertama di awal perlumbaan. Saya lebih nak lihat di mana pemula di belakang cuba untuk mengambil kesempatan untuk berada membaiki kedudukan mereka. Kita lihat PP yang mulai mengurang rangkam di hadapan. Dan ada seorang pelumba yang angkat tangan di belakang, ada masalah dengan motosikalnya.
Adib was seemingly out of contention coming into the final couple of corners of the race, but there's a reason why some riders are champions.
Menuju ke jam penambat dia tadi Adib nanti juga sampai Adib sampai ke depan Adib sampai di dahulu. Bisa Rafa. Kita akan lihat sebab sekarang ini Adib yang sudah nampak, tapi kita akan tunggukan keputusan terlebih dahulu sebelum kita dapat umumkan kerana nampak macam 18 sampai tapi nombor 18 tidak ada wujud di time pace sekarang ini.
A late spurt to the line, meaning that Adib was already leading the championship after 2 rounds with a P3 to add to this win. His boss, Sifu YY Bang, he approved. Wakefield Park was the second stop in the season for the Australian Superbikes Championship. The 600 Supersport Championship will be a full-on season-long battle between Tom Edwards and former ARRC racer Brock Pearson. They'd shared the wins between them in the previous round, and Pearson would take the championship lead with a win in the first race of the round at Westfield Park. But a new, if familiar name would come to the fore in the fourth race of the season, that of Max Stauffer.
It looks like Stauffer's got the gap. If he doesn't make a mistake here, he's smooth.
He's into the final corner. He wasn't too late. He should get good run out onto the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance front straight to take his second race win at Wakefield Park in only his second year of competition in the Motorsports TV Supersport class. It is Max to the max and Brock Pearson in second position. Tom Edwards should get third place as they come round to complete this race now, and Jack Passfield will take an excellent fourth and Dallas Skier a sensational fifth.
The son of Jamie, making the ASBK 600 Championship a 3-man battle. Suzuka would host the second round of the All Japan JSB 1000 Championship. More domination for Katsuyuki Nakasuga. The 40-year-old former MotoGP rider had to work hard to make it 2 wins from 2 races at Suzuka to add to his 2 in the opening round of Matega.
Oh my gosh, wait, what was the mistake of him? Like how? So the reason why Nakasuga could overtake Kiyonari, because Kiyonari,
his line was just too wide.
Too wide.
Yeah.
But it was clear that he's a bike and a class apart from the rest of the grid in Japan. At Estoril in Portugal, there was success for Southeast Asian riders at the FIM CEV Moto2 European Championships, as Malaysia's Adam Noureddin secured 2 third-place finishes in the first 2 races of the season, riding for the SIC team. And a pugnacious P4 for Mario Sorio Aji in the Moto3 Junior World Championships, riding for the Astra Honda Racing team. Sadly, it will prove to be the high point of his season. May would see a best result of the season at MotoGP for Japan's Honda Idemitsu team rider Takaki Nakagami. A P4 at Jerez in Spain, an overachievement for what would turn out to be a difficult season for both Honda and Nakagami. With events now sadly being regularly cancelled due to COVID-19, the only top-level racing to take place in the whole of Asia in the month of May came in Japan. Round 3 of the All Japan Championships at Tsugo. Even that massively impacted by fog and rain. In the racing that did take place, Kuda Arakawa, number 5 here, moved joint top of the Superstock 600 Championship.
そしてその後ろは佐野優斗、伊達優太、松岡玲、中村達也と続いていますが、トップ10です。周回数が2周目を終えて3周目。
But this will be a rare highlight for Arakawa and he'd fall away as the season progressed. Of course, Nakasuga won the one race that actually took place in the JSB 1000cc.
Well done, Nakasuga. Congratulations. This is how the champion wins.
His perfect season was scuppered by the early rain and fog. His P2 in qualification would result in his only drop points of a dominant season. So, the early stars of the 2021 road racing season, Maxwell and Herfoss, almost inseparable in the Australia 1000cc Championship, Adib Rosley flexing his muscles in the early rounds of the Malaysian Cup Prix, and of course, there was Nakasuga, all-conquering in Japan. There are some great races still ahead on the show, plus your chance to win some polo shirts, courtesy Idemitsu. Log on to the Asia Road Racing Facebook page to answer 2 questions. The first of which is, at which circuit did Takami Nakagami of the Honda Idemitsu team secure his best finish of the MotoGP season? A clue, it was a P4 in Spain, but at which circuit? After the Idemitsu choir, we changed the pace for the first in a behind-the-scenes series called A Day in the Life. Today, we look at a day's work for a scrutineer. I promise you, it's more fun than it sounds. Then later in the show, we showcase our best 6 races of the season. Some familiar names and rivalries, but what was the best race of the season? Welcome back to the Asia Motorsports Hour. It's our last edition of the calendar year, but don't worry, we do carry on into 2022. Some high-octane racing still ahead, but we thought we'd just change the pace just a little bit and go behind the scenes with our cameras. And we've decided we're going to put the scrutiny on the men they call the scrutineers. So, here's probably what you think the end of a race is. After a grueling battle, the top 3 riders strolling their way on a celebratory lap back into the Parc Ferme to continue that celebration with their respective teams. Then obviously, the riders taking the leisurable walk up to bask in the spotlight of being hot shots of the day. But here's where the unseen eyes and hands come into play. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Hello, I'm Simon. I'm in charge of technical department, pre-race and post-race checking of all the machines. So in this part, we have our weighing machine. These are the weighing scales. After the race or the qualifying sessions, the bikes will come in for a weighing session here. We have our digital scale here. And then, of course, we have our team member here doing recording and logging all the weights of the bike to make sure that they are within the regulations.
Simon Yap, the technical director at the Malaysian Superbike Championship, or better known as the MSBK, knows how important scrutineering is in ensuring racing integrity is upheld from the technical side of things. So usually the top 5 bikes in any race are weighed immediately after the race, and these bikes are then put under further scrutiny.
After the bikes done their weighing, we will send them in here for any technical inspection that our boys want to do. So sometimes we'll do fuel checking, the checking of the petrol. Sometimes we'll do gearbox ratio checking. It all depends. Depends on, we'll do it randomly so that it's unexpected and people will not try to do something funny.
These inspections cover a wide range of technical specifications, from fuel to gear ratio and so much more. Luckily for Simon, he has a team that's well trained to perform thorough checks on a fast-paced race weekend.
Jangan gerak. Okay, Din. Din, sebut satu-satu kalau dalam satu turn sebut. Satu. Okey. 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 Ngam. 3.5. Okey, ngam.
However, if there's any irregularity that crops up during these checks, this is where Simon gets his hands dirty.
Ada race lagi tak hari ni? Satu race saja kan?
Ada hari ni satu je.
Kalau nak confirm kita buka enjin kira gigi oh.
Okey, kita tengok tanya dia orang macam mana.
Boleh buat lagi satu kali tak saya tengok?
Boleh?
Buat lagi confirm dia balik. Pastikan dia 3.
And if the findings are still not satisfactory, he's more than ready to make the big calls.
Buka.
Tak betul.
Buka. Buka.
Tim manager mana?
Bang panggil team manager bang.
His team are on the case as well to ensure that all doubts are somewhat cleared by the end of the day.
Dia 3.11 tapi dia punya gap tu jauh sangat. Sebab ini kita check luar je. Kalau nak confirm memang kita kena kira ratio. Kalau nak confirm kita kena kira ratio.
Once all checks are completed, Harry, the Assistant Technical Director, who also doubles up as Chief Scrutineer for MSBK, will share these technical findings via report to the clerk of the course at the end of a race day. Let's just check in with him to see how did the bikes fare in the eyes and hands of the scrutineers on this particular day.
I just finished our final report today for race 1. Today what we checking for all the bike top 5. We weighing all the bike and then we check all top 5 for technical check. Mostly we check gear ratio for today. We checking for fuel test. Other than that, all the post race today all okay. All follow our spec, technical regulation for MSBK.
Push Baraja with the behind-the-scenes production of that item. Thanks, Push. Quick break now. But before we go, the second of the 2 questions about the 2021 season that could win you a very pretty Idemitsu-sponsored polo shirt. Today's question: what was the venue of the race that we picked at number 3 in our list? You can only find out by staying with the show, because after the break we have our Super 6 with, as you'd expect, tight finishes throughout. Promise you some great highlights and storylines after this short break. Very warm welcome back to the Asia Motorsports Hour. The new year beckons. But before we head into 22, let's relive the best races that we've had the pleasure of featuring from this season's various national championships. There were some beauties to pick from. We'd love to hear your selections as well. But for now, here's what we're calling our Super 6. At number 6, Buriram, Thailand, October 21. Round 3 of the BRIC Championships, and torrential rain made conditions near impossible for riders, and that made the battle between the Honda of Muklada Sarpwek, number 44, and Ratapong Willarot's Yamaha so much more impressive.
ตามมาด้วยมุกดาสารพืชครับโค้ดมุก
There would be multiple overtaking manoeuvres between the two protagonists throughout the race as they battled the conditions and each other. Lap 3, Muklada had the lead.
มันคือมุกแล้วมุกก็เข้าได้
ใช่ครับ
มุกเข้าไหลแคบ
เข้าได้ครับสำหรับมุกระดาแต่ออกทางตรงไปโค้งสี่
ความหมายคือเราลุ้นไม่ให้ขึ้นเบรก
ใช่
เนาะมุกยกรถและเอียงตัวครับเพื่อไม่ให้หลุด
เอาครับนี่โค้งสี่มันต้องปัดมาขวานิดนึงครับขวานิดนึงเข้าโค้งซ้าย
ครับคือพี่บรรยายได้พี่ไม่ต้องโยกตามก็ได้ครับผม
ผมกำลังกินนะครับ
Lap 6, Ratapong's turn.
ไปก็เจอครับผมกับมุกตอนนี้เนี่ยรถไม่ปล่อยห่างเลยนะครับ หลงมาแล้วครับ
And so on. The real moves came in the final couple of laps.
การแข่งขันด้วยนะครับใช่ครับมุกเข้าลายในอีกแล้วแบบเดิมๆได้นะโค้ดก็แบบเดิมๆถ้ามุกอยู่ไม่ได้อะโค้ดก็จะเอาได้ตลอด
ใช่ครับแต่ก็คือเหมือนกับว่าโค้งนี้ไม่ใช่ปัจจัยสักเท่าไหร่แต่ก็คือต้องเกาะไปให้ได้
คือมันมีความได้เปรียบเสียเปรียบพี่
ครับ
คือพี่เข้าลายในได้แล้วพี่เกาะได้เขาเล่นออกเดินช้าแล้วพี่เข้านอกแล้วพี่ชิดพี่เดินได้เร็วกว่ามันมีความแตกต่างกันนะ
ตรงนี้ใช่ป่ะครับ
แล้วแต่ความถนัดของแต่ละคนเพราะฉะนั้นลองสังเกตได้ลองสังเกตดูว่าน่าจะความเร็วทางตรงน่าจะเร็วกว่าโค้ดเร็วกว่า
เร็วกว่านิดนึงนี่ถามว่าความสปีดทางลงเท่าไหร่253ของมุกดาสารพืชครับ
ครับเร็วสุดในฝนตกนะ
ใช่ครับส่วนโฟร์252ครับ
นี่เอี
ยงหนีทำให้ผมเอียงด้วยตลอดเลยเนี่ยผมเสียอาการมากเลยคุณผู้ชม
ผมก็เห็นแล้วล่ะคือเวลามุกเอียงพี่ก็เอียงอ่ะผมก็ลุ้นตามเขาอ่ะ
Ratapong Willarot, who would go on to win the BRIC 600 Championship, was literally dancing in the rain at the finish.
รัตพงศ์วิไลโรจน์ครับเจ้าโฟร์กำลังจะถึงโค้ง12ก่อนเข้ามาแบบละเอียดมากนะครับแล้วก็กำลังจะถึงเช็คเกอร์แฟร์ครับรัตพงศ์วิไลโรจน์ครับจากยามาฮ่าไทยแลนด์เรซซิ่งทีมครับคว้าวินเนอร์โพเดียมไปครับส่วนมุกดาสารพืชครับต้องบอกว่าเป็นตัวคู่แข่งเป็นเรสที่สนุกมากนะครับจบอันดับที่2ครับจาก
At 5, the opening round of the Australian Superbike Championships took place at Winton Moor in Victoria in March. Wayne Maxwell, the defending champion, riding the Ducati, and 17 Troy Herfoss on the Honda would engage in a ding-dong battle for the title until Herfoss injured himself in a crash in Darwin later in the season. But the opening race of the campaign would set the standards for the season ahead. Steve Martin and Phil Harlem in commentary.
Superbikes are go! Glenn Allison has stalled it on the line, can't get the bike off the line, and as they make their way down towards turn 1, he has dropped right back in the field, but it is Troy Herfoss that leads Wayne Maxwell and Arthur Cece's through the spokes.com.au for the first time. Good to see everyone got off the line cleanly there.
On lap 1, Maxwell took Herfoss.
He's been able to replicate it, but as we've predicted, it is Wayne Maxwell and Troy Herfoss that have got away already with Maxwell putting a big manoeuvre on as they went through the Danes corner.
On lap 8, the battle recontinued. Herfoss taking Maxwell.
Have you been surprised just how fast these guys are going? Lap times have been so impressive.
Oh, it's so impressive considering, the previous lap time was 20.2, so yeah, it's just amazing how fast they're going now.
Then Maxwell retaking P1 back from Herfoss on lap 11.
Maxwell looks pretty good out of there. Is he going to try and dive up the inside? He's having a go. Maxwell goes through and says, there you go, leaves enough room. They both get through safely, but now Herfoss knows that Wayne Maxwell was not showing him everything that he had.
Lap 13, Herfoss retakes P1 Maxwell battles back, but Herfoss leads late into the race.
There we go. Could have been four. Herfoss is up the inside. That's a fast corner.
Maxwell's around the outside.
Maxwell just stayed there on the outside. A very brave move from Wayne Maxwell.
Watch here, though. Maxwell's going to dive back. Is he? No, because Herfoss closes that line in tight.
Last lap, Maxwell takes the lead going into the final corner.
Maxwell's right there in position now, but he's going to have to get good drive out of here if he wants to make a challenge at MA corner. Is he in position? He's going to dive up the inside. He tries to do it. He goes up the inside. Does Maxwell? Can he hold it on line? Herfoss comes back on the inside, gets all out of shape through Yamaha Rajah corner. Herfoss is down. Herfoss has gone down. Maxwell will take the win. Can Herfoss get the bike up and get some all-important points in the championship? Mike Jones will take second position, and in third place we could very well find that it will be Glenn Allerton, the three-time Australian Superbike champion. Herfoss desperately trying to get the Penrite Honda started and make his way across the start-finish line.
It just dropped off and I was like, I've made a few mistakes. I started thinking about other stuff and Troy came by and just set it in a rhythm, and then he made mistakes. I was like, well, at least I know he's pushing, so he wasn't just sitting there foxing. So, and then I worked out where I was stronger than him, and yeah, and then in the last lap I was like, yeah, I'm going to sail on in here, and sailed on in there, and then I was like, expecting to slipstream me, but nowhere to be seen. And then I looked over my shoulder, so I hope he's all right. He's already congratulated me. He's a great competitor, and that's what brings me, keeps me coming back. I love it.
At 4, sometimes a race can be decided by the width of a wheel. We take you to Sepang in Malaysia for the second round of the Malaysia Superbikes Championship 250 competition. Bunchu Honda's Izam Iqbal is a young Malaysian rider of real promise. Daniel Shami of the SIC racing team has already proven he's capable of competing on the international stage. And if you pit two hungry young riders together in a shootout, you get the odd mistake, but you get ultra competitive racing. Daniel Bogas is in the commentary booth.
And the lights are off. Great start from Izam Iqbal, second on the grid. Even better start from Hakim Danish in fourth. He pops up right next to Idlan Hakimi. Daniel Shami in the lead right now, but Izam's going to get good slipstream, and he's going to get the inside line on Daniel Shami, because Daniel Shami is just swamped right now by all the riders behind him, and he's all the way down into fourth. Hakim Danish gets the whole shot all the way, goes first, but he's a bit wide with Izam holding the inside line, but unable to capitalize.
From the start, it was clear this was going to be ultra competitive. Daniel Shami, 57, Izam Iqbal, plus Hakim Danish and Idlan Hakimi, making this a four-way contest.
Right now, Daniel Shami right on the rear tire of Izam Iqbal, and as he follows them into turn 10. This is a crucial part where they need to get the right drive to make a move into 11, but Izam too strong on the brakes. Daniel Shami just shadows behind Izam Iqbal, just being really right on the rear of his bike.
Coming into the penultimate straight.
Izam Iqbal, they are side by side right now. Run down to line. This is the last run down to line between the both of them. It's going to be a photo finish between the both of them. And it looks like Daniel Shami. It looks like Daniel Shami is taking the victory. Photo finish 0.023 between Daniel Shami and Izam Iqbal. Daniel Shami victorious in this race, inched away in front of Izam Iqbal.
0.023 seconds, the final margin of victory. Daniel Shami taking the win.
Pada race tadi, pada permulaan saya cuma ikut dalam grup, duduk belakang. Jadi pada half race tu saya cuba untuk fight. Saya dapat saya punya pace, saya yakin yang saya boleh ke depan. Jadi pada last lap tu saya cuba lead, dan pada last corner Izam cuba potong saya. Dan sebelum finishing saya cuba fight macam race sebelum ni, side by side, dan alhamdulillah saya dapat satu.
But Izam would have the last laugh. He finished ahead of Daniel in the next race, the last of the season. And whilst Daniel Shami won this race, Izam won the championship. At number 3, the points differential going into the final race of the ASPK 600cc championship at the Bend in Adelaide was just a single point. Brock Pearson leading Tommy Edwards. It couldn't have been better balanced.
Yeah, look, we're going to do our best. I'm going to give it absolutely everything, so let's do it.
Excellent stuff, my friend. Good luck. And one quickly with the smiling assassin, Tommy Edwards. Are we smiling? Can we do it? Can we take it to Brock?
Yeah, I mean, after race one's performance, I think we should be sweet.
Motorsports TV Supersport is go. Good start off the front row of the grid from Brock Pearson. He looks like he got a great jump, and Tom Edwards will be challenging him on the brakes as they get down towards turn one. Where's Max Stouffer? Has he got a good start as well? He has. He's on the outside, and he could very well be in a very good place when they come through turn one for the first time. He is. He's in second place. Brock Pearson's in third, but Edwards on bike number 26 leads with an excellent start from Billy Van Aert. He's up into fourth place.
Edwards with a better start, but then, out of nowhere,
Brock Pearson's in the lead. Brock Pearson has got into the lead, so I'm not sure if it is a mistake for Tom Edwards while we were looking at the rest of the field, but Brock Pearson is definitely in the lead. Oh, this is game on, Steve, because as we know, they came into this race 1 point apart. There is 5 points difference between first and second. This is literally winner takes all, and at the moment that is Brock Pearson, the man celebrating his 21st birthday today, that leads the championship and leads the race.
And Brock Pearson would keep that lead until the penultimate lap.
Here we go, Tom Edwards up the inside, he does it again. He got great drive out of the Ducati corner and gets a good drive up the start, finish straight.
Well, he needed to get the drive out of there, and he did, but Brock Pearson, once again, is going to be in the slipstream as they come round to get the last lap board. 8 laps down, 1 lap to go. Supersport Championship on the line. Pearson is in the slipstream. Can he pull out when they get towards turn one and put a move on Tom Edwards like he did last time that he was bested at My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Corner? He does. He goes back into the lead.
Can he hold it together though? He does. He runs a little wide, but he manages to hold it together. Tommy Edwards now is tight there, which is exactly where you need to be. He lines himself up for the cut back move.
This battle went into the final corner of the final lap of the final race of the season.
And this is Edwards. Edwards is lining it up, but Pearson's fast this time. Edwards has gone to the outside. Pearson closes the gap. He can't do it this time. Brock's got the inside line. A bit of a moment. This is it. This is going to be the moment where he's going to be able to get more drive. Tries to go round, gets cut off.
Going to be a slipstream to the line. It is Pearson that comes out in front. Tom Edwards right in his slipstream as they come to the line now. Pearson is holding on, and he gets there. He takes the championship. He takes the race win. Brock Pearson, happy 21st birthday with a championship to his name. Tom Edwards finishes in second place.
Brock Pearson, by a whisker, champion of the ASBK Supersport 600. What a way to celebrate turning 21. At 2, Azroy Hakim Anwar needed to finish at least 2 places ahead of Afif Amran if he was to win the 150cc championship at the Malaysian Capri final race of the season at Sepang in Malaysia. The day started well for Azroy, a P3 in the qualification shootout, spirits high in his Uzi Honda team camp, especially as Afif could finish only P13 in qualification.
Akan memulakan aksi pusingan ke-10 untuk CP150 telah pun dimulakan. Kita akan menuju ke selektor pertama, masing-masing terus meluncur laju untuk berada pada kedudukan yang lebih baik. Masih lagi di depan kedudukan Syafiq, mungkin di mana kedudukan Afif. Adakah dia mampu melonjak untuk berada di dalam kelompok hadapan ini?
Afif Amran's tactic, he's number 50, was clear from the start to track his main rival for the title. He was in control of his own destiny.
Dan ini Azroy dan juga Afif, persaingan di antara dua pelumba ini. Kita perhatikan kedudukan di mana Azroy di tempat yang ke-6, Afif di tempat yang ke-7. Cukup rapat di antara dua pelumba ini. Kita perhatikan Azroy yang cuba untuk memasuki di selektor yang pertama.
By the 3/4 mark of the 12-lap race, Azroy, green helmet, number 20, in the leading group, but Afif not too far behind.
Sekarang kita ada 3 pusingan lagi, dan yang kita lihat tadi bagaimana Azroy telah keluar. Mungkin dia cuba untuk keluar dan tengok bagaimana. Dan untuk mengawal motosikal ketika dengan merapat sekali semua pelumba.
Going into the final lap, 50 and 20, literally side by side. Remember, Afif leads by 8 points in the championship. As they come into the final straight, Azroy is second, but Afif in fourth looks certain to be champion.
Untuk kita melihat apakah akan terjadi untuk Azroy, untuk Afif dalam kedudukan terakhir. Kedudukan yang kedua, Azroy dalam kedudukan terbaik dan akhirnya dia berada pada kedudukan terbaik. Dia mengikuti rapat di kedudukan yang kedua selepas lekor yang ke-8 dan akhirnya
Afif di tempat yang ke-5. Bermakna Azroy adalah juara. Azroy adalah juara. Kalau mungkin saya telah melompat lebih awal dengan kedua mata, 8 mata. Tapi nampak pasukannya bersorak sekarang ni. Tapi Afif nombor keluar tempat yang ke-5 kerana Afif nombor 5 bermakna kejuaraan adalah milik Azroy Hakim Anwar selepas dia berjaya Menambah keluar tempat pertama. Dia kata dia menanti di saat akhir untuk dia memintas. Dan itu dilakukannya. Izzat Zahir tempat kedua. Patrol tempat yang ketiga. Android juara 2021 bagi CP 150.
Hakim's Honda Uzi Idemitsu team recognizing before anyone else exactly what had happened. As the replay showed, Azroy moved to first, Afif dropped to fifth, the championship changing hands in the last 100 metres of a 10-race season. The Idemitsu Asia Motorsport Hour race of the season comes from Thailand, and it involves one of the most popular names in Asian road racing circles, Kawasaki Thailand's Titipong Wadakorn. Lining up against him in a three-way title battle are Yamaha Thailand's Anupab Samun and his teammate number 24 Apiwat Wongtanon. The Yamahas have been quicker in qualifying. Titipong's first concern was to make sure the Yamahas didn't get a jump on the Kawasaki. Then at the end of lap 3, a big moment.
เอาอะไรครับรถดับสแตมป์รถดับครับสแตมป์รถดับเกิดอะไรขึ้นครับสแตมป์โค้ง12ไปได้ไหมเอากลับมาต่อได้โอ้ยเราหายไปห่างไปเยอะเลยครับเอาแล้วครับ
Then there were two. And for the remainder of the race, Titipong stalked the back wheel of Anupab. And he waited until the final corner to strike.
ใครจะดีกว่ากันครับระหว่างอนุภาพสามูลหรือว่าจะเป็นจิติพงศ์วโรกรออกมาดูจากตรงนี้ใครถึงก่อนใครเอ่ยดูนี่ครับโอ้จิติพงศ์วโรกรครับ 0.012 วินาทีครับโอ้โหครึ่งล้อ
A near impossible overtake around the outside of turn 12. And a 10-point swing in a championship that Titipong would go on and win. You could understand the outpouring of emotion in the Parc Ferme and at the trophy presentation that night as Kawasaki confirmed sadly their exit from Asian road racing, but on a winning note from Tingnote.
We have to for 5 times in our Thai World Championship and we got in for title. Thank you for fighting Yamaha Thailand racing team in the Seoul X. Thank you. And thank you very much for Otsan, Chan International, also PTT all sponsor. Thanks so much. I'm so sorry. 2021 end of season that we are racing activity all finished. I'm so sorry for big fun and all sponsors all organized. But we have followed for Kawasaki policy. Then thank you so much for big rider for the North. Thank you so much for our racing mechanics. But thank you so much for Thai and everyone, big fan and all family. Lovely. Thanks so much.
And that's our review of the year. Hope you enjoyed the Super 6. Let us know your thoughts on the ARRC Facebook page. Also, let's have your answers to the 2 questions posed today for the chance for you to win some Idemitsu sponsored polo shirts. First, at which circuit did Takami Nakagami of the Honda Idemitsu team secure his best finish of the MotoGP season? A clue. It was a P4 in Spain, but at which circuit? Second, what was the venue of the race that we selected at number 3 in our Super 6 races of that 2021 list you've just seen? And so the year is over. We can only hope we find a solution to the COVID pandemic in 22 to enable racing calendars all over Asia to be fulfilled and to witness more great road racing in the continent. From all at the Asia Motorsports Hour and Two Wheels Motor Racing, we'll see you in 22.